Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of coding challenge with code wars. Today we're going to be turning a string into a hash. So we're given a string like this, and we have to convert it to a hash. That's how a hash is called, a hash in Ruby, a dictionary in Python, and an object literal in JavaScript. So how do we go about it? The first thing is naturally to split it by the commas, like this. You split by the comma. So I'm going to create a variable. Let's just call it the comma split, and inside I'm going to take the string and split it by the comma. Now if I console log comma split, we get something like this. It has been split into different commas. With a little exception, we can see there is some empty space here. We need to remove that, and that is done with the trim. I just did an example here on my Node.js terminal. This is a string shirt, and when I trim, it removes the trailing spaces at the beginning and at the end. Like this, it produces what is in the green there. So we're going to do that for every word here, every word in this array. So we're going to use a map function for that. So let's map for every word. We're going to return the word that has been trimmed without spacing, such that if I console log again, I get something like this without the spacing. That's great. Now I'm going to go to individual words, or let me just call it equation. This is an equation, and split it again by the equal sign. And I'll take the right side and the left side and constitute my my object literal. So let me just comment this. So I'm going to use a for loop. Let every equation, I can use the for of. Just as a reminder, let's come back to the terminal. If I have an array like this, let array be equal to 11, 22, 33. If I use the for of, let me just call it for of the array, and I console log my looping variable, that's I. The for of, it's going to return the individual element inside the array. Now if I use the for in, it's going to return the indices in this 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use the for of because I want to deal with every element inside our array, every equation. And for what do I do? So I'm going to take the equation and split by the comma. So let me just call this the comma split. I'll just create a variable for that. Comma split is equal to, I'll take the equation and split it by the equal sign. Once I split, it's going to return an array of two sides, the left and the right. So what am I going to do? I have to take the left side and the right side and constitute my object. Before that, let me create my empty object here, my object literal, and initialize it to an empty bracket. So I am going to take my object, and the left side of the equation is going to be the key. It's equation with a U. So the left side of the split, which is comma split of 0, is gonna be having the value comma split of 1. At the end of the for loop, I can console log my my object, if you wish, my object literal, or my hash. Oh, got an error. It's 4 of the comma split. Yeah, exactly. Let's return that again. All right, so we get something like this, which means that's correct. So I can just return it because I did the console log. Let's return that. What's the issue? I have errors now. We need to debug. So what's the matter? All right, we can see that there's an issue. It says this is what we got, but it's expecting this. You can see that this one is a string, but this is a number here, so we need to convert it to number. We just need to add a plus here. Let's try again. Now this is what we get. It adds an additional object here. We need to get rid of it. So I guess this is like it took the whole string. I don't know. How can we solve that? First of all, let's console log our individual splits here, our comma split. When we split by the equation split, sorry. So I'll take it back one more time. This was very not clear from my side. So let's start in the beginning. I had to split it by the comma. This is the instruction here. I had to split it by the commas here. That is the essence of line 3. Now I have to look through to split the individual equation. That is why I'm correcting this to equation split, where I'm going to split by the equal sign. That's it. Now it worked, except that we have an additional empty object here. We want to debug that, so I want to console log the equation split to make sure that it splits properly, so that I can see. So it splits properly. We have two sides, except that we have an additional empty side that comes in here. So I'm going to build this object. This is where the object literally is built. I'm going to build it if and only if this side here, the key is different from an empty string, because this is an empty string that it took and built an object with. So I'm going to remove that. I'm only going to do the object literal building if this is not an empty string. Now let me retest again. Yeah, it works. Great. So I can uncomment this and uncomment this and uncomment this, something like this, and we have a final code that looks like this. Great. Hope you can see. So we have our empty object, our empty hash, if you want, ready to receive numbers. So on line 3, we split it by the comma. That's why I said the comma split. It's split by the comma, and we trim so that we remove all empty spaces. And then we look through every individual equation and we split by the equal sign. And we take the we take the left side of the equation, we construct our object key. We take the right side, we construct our object value and convert it to a number with a plus. And we only do that if the key is different from null. If not, we will have undesired consequences, and then we return our hash. Basically, that's it. So let's come back to normal screen. All right, so I'm just gonna submit so that we can look at the example of other developers and see if there's ameliorations and just learn other approaches. All right, so it looks like the same thing for us. So we have our hash, empty hash for the moment, and then we split by the comma and the space equally. Instead of trimming, he just split by the comma and space automatically, and then he loops through using the for each and split by the equal sign and obtains the key value. This is very well easier to read than what we wrote. So we could split like that and automatically send it to deconstruct it into values, and then we can build our hash. This is cool. This is using regular expression, not too easy to read at first glance. I'll let you do your thing. The same thing here, regular expression. I have to look at the documentation to understand that. I hope you understand. Just to know that we can use regular expression. Thanks for watching and see you for another video.